Trying to find the best interest rate, I've got a few insider tips to share. I actually just had this conversation with a buyer who reached out last week, and this buyer had already spoken with 8 lenders. And so he's coming into the conversation with insight and thinking that he knows, and buyers are only focused on the interest rate because that's what you know as a buyer of a home. That's what you're thinking. But there's so much more that goes into it that a mortgage lender can tell you. And so I shared with him, if I were looking to purchase a house today, here's the 5 areas, the 5 questions that I would be asking each lender that I'm talking to be able to then bring together the real information. Because if you call a lender and you say, hey, what's your rate? And the lender gives you an interest rate without asking you additional information, it's very likely that interest rate is not going to be your rate. And that information, people don't understand. So as a lender for over 25 years, if you talk to a lender and you're asking about interest rates, you gotta dive deep. And here's the questions you wanna ask. When you're shopping lenders and interest rates, ask them the 30-year fixed rate, if that's the program that you're looking for, at that moment. Because a lot of times they're gonna kind of tell you maybe a range, but right in that moment, if you had a property and you were gonna lock, what would the rate be? So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is how long that rate lock is for. Are they quoting you a 24-hour rate lock? Well, that doesn't make sense. Nobody can close a home loan in 24 hours. So you want to ask the term of the lock. Is that based on a 30-day lock period, a 45-day lock period, a 60-day lock period? The buyer that I was talking to had a very long close of escrow. So as he was talking with lenders, they were giving him a 30-day rate lock, but it's more expensive to lock on a 60-day rate lock. So just kind of having that insight, the rate lock term is also very important. Listen up. This next piece is super important. With an interest rate, what is the cost and discount points for that rate? Some lenders will just quote a rate without giving the actual discount points. And again, it's that moment in time because the bond market, which is what drives long-term mortgage rates, is so volatile right now. So mortgage rates change every day throughout the day, many times throughout the day. So as you're talking with that lender in that moment, what is the 30-year fixed rate that I was locking today, right in this moment, and what are the discount points associated with it? That's good insight. Question number 4, what are their lender fees? Essentially, that means processing, underwriting, application fee. What does that look like? What are the lender's fees? When you look at a lender's estimate of overall closing cost, lender fees are going to be a component of that. But the rest of the information is pretty standard. Working with a lender that's going to give you the detail up front, because as lenders, we know what your approximate title and escrow fees are going to be. We know if you have transfer taxes in the area that you're purchasing. We're estimating for homeowners insurance and property taxes, and we're trying to give the best, most accurate information up front. So that way, when you get out and you start shopping and you find that perfect house and then you go under contract, you're not surprised to see the closing costs jump. As you go through this process, especially if you're not under contract and you're just asking questions, realize that those answers you're getting may not be the actual answers and may not be the reality of what you see once you're under contract and receive that loan estimate fee worksheet. So lender fees, that's an important one. And before I share the last insider tip, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Tip number 5 to be sure you're asking lenders is, do they offer a future discount on a refinance? With interest rates where they are today, we know that it's very likely at some point interest rates are going to drop and our clients are going to be positioned for a refinance. So we offer a no lender fee refinance, as many lenders do offer that, but some don't. So just be sure you're asking that question up front. That way you have a lending partner for the future refinance that you'll likely end up doing. And on that future refinance, working with a lender that is going to monitor the market, have a rate trigger set up for you, reach out to you when rates hit that point, and be able to get you into that lower payment sooner than later, that is a big component of this future discount on a refinance. That's great, but then what system, what process does that lender have to be sure that you are notified and you can rock and roll when rates drop. So next time you think about getting the lowest interest rate, think about all that goes along with it. It's going to be the occupancy of the property, your credit score, your lock term, the type of dwelling, condo, single family residence, townhouse, manufactured home. There's so much that goes into that lender rate quote. Interest rate is very important, but it's also very important that you can get to the finish line. So interest rate important, but making sure you're choosing a lender that you feel that you can trust to get you to the finish line and close your home loan and get those keys in hand. That is equally as important. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this channel for more valuable mortgage education, and make sure to stay tuned for my next video about our very cool 1-year lender paid rate buy down program.